Well, hello and welcome to Caching in the Northwest. You know, this is the official podcast of GeoWoodstock 18 right here in the Great Pacific Northwest. Now, it's Thursday night at 9 p.m., and I'm Chris of the Northwest, and we're here to talk about geocaches and geocachers from here and all around the globe. So, while you're thinking you can do a triple salchow, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
I don't even know what that is, but tonight we are talking about things we do know a little something about and going to learn more. We're talking with Keats94 about the Trans-Canada Highway Adventure Lab series. As always, live audience, we want to hear what you have to say, think, type, contribute. Put it in the chat, will you? There's going to be a hashtag code for you later. That's later. But first, of course, it's time to bring in our Adventure Lab lemur. Some say he thinks national anthems are country music. And others say that during the lockdown, well, he developed a ranking system for sweatpants. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
Hello, hello, hello. Nice to be back.
Hello.
Good to see everybody. And we even got an extra person to look at here. Hey, Keats, how you doing?
Thanks. How you doing?
Good to have you back on the
Welcome back,
podcast.
yeah.
You had a question earlier about what a triple salchow is. My understanding is in figure skating, it's one of the most difficult movements. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
all right.
I
Well,
don't
hey,
do figure skating. It's not pretty.
well, choose your figure. It's
Splat in my case, but
like rough shock art. Okay. So, quick reminder at this point, of course, in the podcast that we appreciate the support of our patrons who help to keep the podcast coming each and every week. Thanks to Land Sharks, who are one of our corporate Denali level sponsors. And Land Sharks has a special announcement they asked us to pass on for them. They are a proud sponsor of GeoWoodstock 18, August 13th in Abbotsford, BC, Canada's first GeoWoodstock, Canada's first Giga event. That's the Land Sharks and honestly the GeoWoodstock organizers, want to remind you that if you think you might have signed up for one of the registration package levels, but you're not sure, well, go check your inbox for email from chris@edley.ca or emails with the keywords GeoWoodstock XVIII. If you haven't registered yet, well, hey, there's still time, but don't wait too long and miss out. Check it all out. geowoodstock.com. There you go. And hey, we've got other corporate Denali level sponsors, and that's Gold Country Geotourism. I feel like there should be an echo when I say it. I want the gym echo when I say that. Gold Country Geotourism. Tourism.
oh, that sounds better already.
There you go.
You don't need me.
Folks, follow their social. Follow them on Facebook. It's facebook.com, Explore Gold Country. Follow them on Insta. Follow them on Twitter. They've got great content coming out showing you wonderful, amazing things you can do when you explore Gold Country. So go ahead and just head over to their website. That's exploregoldcountry.com and learn more about the Geo Tour, of course, but also visiting that region any time of the year. Beautiful place to go. Put it on your bucket list. All right.
And make sure you follow
Marcy.
I'm so sorry because it was said wrong in a email, and that's the name I had stuck in my head, and I wasn't going to say it out loud. So make sure you follow Marcy on social medias because you never know where she is.
Yeah. And
right?
Apparently there's prizes.
There's prizes. So
that we arbitrarily make up and she has to honor.
If you find her and pester her, she will give you a gold bar.
Or something.
Or she's supposed to give you a gold bar. She probably doesn't have any with her. But
there may be some other criteria associated with the gold bar giving. I don't know.
No, none other. I've deemed you don't have to do anything else. You just giving them away.
Okay.
Your mileage may vary. All right.
How about applets and cotlets?
Ooh.
Sounds good. Well, folks, if you want to know more about supporting this show, just like Marcy from Gold Country and Helen and Chris from Land Sharks do, and all of our patrons who, if you listen to the end of this podcast, you'll hear all of our patrons and you'll know who they all are. But if you want to join that auspicious gang, click that Patreon link on the cachingnw.com, a website.
Oh, hey, we've got Keats with us tonight, and that means we're going to talk about, as UDAC says, the CHALS or TCHALS. So use the hashtag TCHALS in the chat there if you want to add anything to tonight's show. And of course, you can use the hashtag FATAS to bring up anything you want, anything in the after show. And you know what? I always mean to say it and I forget to. Use the hashtag podcast baking and let us know what you're cooking. We don't care what The Rock is cooking. We want to know what you are cooking.
That's
what
right.
are you baking?
I can smell what you're baking. No, that's not right. Is that how that goes?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think it's wrong no matter how you say it.
Yeah. Doesn't quite have the same impact. Can you smell what The Rock is baking? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. We'll work on
You're
it.
saying the Rock is baked? What?
Only after he shakes.
Didn't know he did baking, but
There you
Why
go.
wouldn't
Okay.
he? He does everything. Have you noticed he's everywhere?
I just figured he had people for that.
No. Yeah, maybe.
All right. Well, folks, contribute. We want to hear your questions and your comments, including one earlier on. I already saw. Oh, hey, Cache Canada is watching
Hello,
live.
Cache Canada. Welcome.
There you go. And a geocache again, the Manitoba coordinator. Wow, you got your entire support team
Hello.
here. It's,
Hello, geocacher.
you're, I don't think there's going to be any question that can't be answered tonight, because I think all the organizers for this this thing are on here. Now,
Nice.
there was a question earlier about how to pronounce it. Now, I have my own way that I would pronounce it, but Keats, how do you pronounce those letters?
Well, yeah, of course, maybe it's controversial, but I would pronounce it TCHALS, just because it rolled off the tongue a little easier. But TCHALS, I'm a relatively easygoing person when it comes to that kind of stuff. So TCHALS, whatever floats your boat.
So TCHALS.
TCHALS, yeah, you know what? That sounds really good. So, you know.
It sounds pretty Canadian. I mean,
Yeah.
If I heard TCHALS, I'd think, oh, where's that city? Along the Trans-Canada Highway somewhere.
North of Port Hardy somewhere.
Moose Jaw?
Moose Jaw, yeah.
All right.
Keats sells TCHALS by the T-chore.
Also true.
Okay.
All right. Well, before we start talking more about TCHALS, we are going to get a little bit of news here. Speaking of funny pronounced acronyms, KITO is an environmental initiative supported by the geocaching community since 2002. That's Cache In, Trash Out. KITO has enabled geocachers to beautify and restore natural and urban spaces. In that time, there have been more than, 536,000 logged attendances at nearly 29,000 events where geocachers have helped to clean up that game board. All right. Actions speak louder than words. So by participating in a KITO event, whether by collecting trash, planting trees, or crafting new homes for pollinators, that's a cool one. I'd enjoy doing that. We make our world a better place. Each event is a testament to care for others, our communities, and our planet. And so that is all the wonderful reasons that you should attend a KITO, CITO, however you want to pronounce it, CITO event. There are great reasons that you should attend, but the reason we really all attend is because we want our souvenir. So what are the souvenir
That's
seasons?
so selfish, isn't it?
But
it's true.
It's what motivates geocachers, the shiny virtual things that we can't even touch. All right. Tuesday, March 1st through Tuesday, May 31st. Wow, that's coming up fast. Tuesday, March 1st, we're almost there. That is going to be Kito Season 1. Kito Season 2 is going to be in September through November, September 1st through November 30th. All you need to do is host or attend a Kito event during each of those 2 seasons, and you will get the souvenirs.
Ooh.
There you go. Keto. Even better.
Keto.
It's the keto diet. Do not eat what you pick up.
Know where it's being.
Unless you're in the Wonka factory, you could probably do it there.
The one place.
Yeah. All right. Well, in other news this week, you think this little podcast is just hanging out on Thursday nights? No, we have quite the reach. And as a testament to the reach of the podcast, we announced a story last week about a missing pickle. And I'm happy to report there was a story in the news just today that says Dylan T. Pickle is back safe and sound. The Portland Pickles announced this just today, Thursday. The baseball team said the mascot costume was misplaced on a recent flight, and it was delivered to the Pickles office in southeast Portland after business hours. The team said it did not receive a notification from the airline that they delivered it after hours, and someone stole the large canvas bag containing the mascot right off their front porch. These porch pirates, it's getting really bad when you're stealing your pickle.
The pickle porch pirates.
That would have been a pretty surprised porch pirate when they opened that package.
So in an announcement on Thursday, today, the team said Dylan was found on a TriMet bus, of all places, and dropped off at, well, how appropriate, a Voodoo Donut in southeast Portland. Team says he's alive and well despite a few bruises.
Was the intention that he would get to the police quicker if he was dropped off at Voodoo Donuts?
I don't know, but I'm sure that he was found due to the reach of this podcast talking about the plight of the missing pickle last week.
I think so.
So, thanks for spreading that story.
Yes, we acknowledge the power we have, and we use it judiciously. We don't just throw it out there and see what we can do. No,
I thought we used it arbitrarily.
Usually.
Yeah, okay.
Not in this case, though.
All right. Okay. Well, we know that the Portland Pickles are saying welcome back to Dylan T. Pickle, and we here at Caching in the Northwest are saying welcome back to Keats. We saw him most recently, well, live and in person in Victoria, BC at Landsharks HQ. He was just fiddling around, and if you missed that, go check out that podcast episode in the archives. Not right now. You're here right now, Thursday night. Stay here. But afterward, go check that one out. So, Keats, if somebody's new and isn't familiar with you, maybe you could give us a little bit of your background, your, all the typical deeds, your home address, bank ATM pin, all those kind of things.
Yeah, no problem. I can divulge that easily.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having me back on the show. I really do appreciate having the opportunity to be with you folks. It's really cool. I've been a geocacher for 11 years now, and in that time I have met some amazing places. Geocaching has really shown me a lot of the details of this earth that I wouldn't have seen as well. So I'm really grateful for like I said, the people around me, and having experience and life experience throughout those geocache finds. It's more than just signing a logbook. You're at a place. I mean, some places are more interesting than others, but certainly it has given me a lot of pause to reflect on, where this place is and where that place is, and it's made me a lot more geographically aware, and I'm really happy that geocaching has facilitated that. I'm from Burnaby, British Columbia, and so yes, the last place you saw me was at the Landsharks store in Victoria, and that was a really fun event, and thank you all for hosting that. And so basically, I thought I would bring my fiddle with me on this this very rocky seaplane ride from Vancouver, and made it all in one piece. Arrived in Victoria about 30 minutes later. And it was a fun event, like I said. And I grew up with Celtic music, and I decided to play the fiddle when I was in grade 9. And then about a year after that, I took up geocaching. So here I am.
So sweet. That's a sweet pickle story. Wait, no, that's not the pickle story.
That's
Sorry. That nice. And thank you for taking up the fiddle, because that is something that I look at and go, I have no idea how this thing even works. And I'm just amazed that people do. And being able to see you perform live right there was just incredible. So thank you for that. We certainly appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And for our audio listeners, we do want to acknowledge there is a problem with Keats audio. It's kind of garbled at times. We thought we'd worked it out pre-show, but I think we're just going to have to live with what it is. So we apologize for that, but we can get the gist of what you're saying.
Hopefully the Wi-Fi God will be with me. Come on.
Oh. Okay, so we've had the argument of how to pronounce these letters. And
really?
Yeah, and some people have come up with TCHALS. You know, it's gone this far. TCHALS is what Keats calls it, so that's what we're going to live with tonight. Now, we know what the letters are and how to pronounce the acronym, but what does the whole thing stand for?
So the whole thing stands for the Trans-Canada Highway Adventure Lab series, and this series focuses primarily along Highway 1, but we have discovered that there are lots of highways in Canada, and so we have also included major highways, Highway 16, a few artery highways in Ontario, and also once you start moving into the Maritimes, the Highway 1 kind of turns into Highway 2, and so what we've decided is kind of looked at where the main flow goes from east to west, and chose to pick some highways that not only showcase Trans-Canada Highway, but also showcase some of the unique kind of side roads as well. So we're very flexible when it comes to placing adventure labs along these roads. Of course, we want to stick with the theme of Trans-Canada Highway, but it's basically, you know, if there's a really cool location, we're willing to be flexible. It's Highway 16 that we've seen a number of labs published along that route, and people are liking that they're up there. We want to include Edmonton because Highway 16 that goes from basically Prince Rupert all the way to Winnipeg, and so in between you got basically Jasper, Edmonton, Saskatoon. These are some major cities, so we thought it was best to include Highway 16, especially in this series.
We have a Highway 16 right here in Tacoma. It's probably the connected. It's a universal highway number, I think.
Yeah, it seems to be. It's a popular number.
Well, what inspired you to take on a project like this?
Well, you'll be happy to know that it started actually on this very podcast.
Wow.
After listening to GSM times 2, and I see him in the chat right now, his discussion on the Lincoln Highway, Route 66, and Highway 1 in the United States, it inspired me, and also Cache Canada. I remember him; he was in the chat, and it was really cool, kind of seeing like, yeah, you know what, we could create something like that in Canada, and you know, we were thinking like, yeah, is there going to be enough support? It's like, yeah, there's absolutely enough support to create this massive series across the world's second largest country. And so we assembled a lot of coordinators for each province, and you know, it's been an awesome team effort to get this thing up and going, and it's really cool to see this series kind of grow. And in some areas it grows faster than others, but it's this kind of unifying thing where we're talking to people from all over the country, and we have people from Ontario and Manitoba tuning in tonight, and I see Cache Canada and Geocache Canada here. So it's really cool that we've been kind of corresponding and linking this all together, and hopefully one day we'll all grab drinks sometime.
Excellent. So Keats, I mean, the Highway 1 itself, the Trans-Canada Highway, such as it is, and you've already said that it really does expand beyond that. I mean, just Highway 1, or the Trans-Canada, is 7,800 kilometers, over 4,500 miles of highway stretching across Canada. Probably one of the longest routes of its type in the world. It's a big project. As you've already said, there's a number of people helping out. How is this progressing across Canada? Like, we're curious which provinces already have ALs in them, and where's their work to be done?
So, great question. We currently have highway in every province except for Saskatchewan at the moment, but that will change in time for GeoWoodstock. Saskatchewan does have a low population and is pretty rural, so it has been a bit of a challenge to engage, but I am optimistic that we are going to be seeing it together soon. But it's like I said, we've starting to see adventure labs in Newfoundland and Quebec now. So it's definitely, it's picking up, and we're starting to see, Ontario is doing really well. I'm being very impressed with Ontario's participation in this. And we're just, we're fired up and ready to go.
All right. Maybe those ALs will be in Dog River.
Ooh. Hey, we have a question from Trexer. He wants to know, are any ferry routes included in this incredibly long highway?
So yes, we did have this discussion earlier on in the project. We determined that ferry route, for example, and there are many ferry routes in Canada, not only on the ocean, but on lakes as well. I think my Ontario players will probably talk about the lake areas if they they want to talk about it in chat. We have determined that the route between Tsawwassen, which is on the mainland of British Columbia, and connects to Swartz Bay on the Vancouver Island side of the to Victoria, we've determined that is a route that is heavily used by people, and it is also a route that takes you to a city that does have the start of the Trans-Canada Highway, Mile Zero. So we determined that was important to include that. So if anybody wants to put an adventure lab on that route, we're definitely happy, even though that highway technically is Highway 17. We determined that there are some important exceptions to be made. So that is a major example. There are probably, we have routes between the mainland of the Horseshoe Bay, the north side of the Lower Mainland, kind of the northwest side of the Lower Mainland of British Columbia. That links to Nanaimo, and so we were thinking that one could do a sort of route where they could drive and take the ferry down into Victoria and then loop their way back up to Vancouver Island and then make their way back to the mainland via Nanaimo. That is on the west side of things. I can't necessarily speak for the Nova Scotia side. I know that in where Cape Breton is linked to, or the ferry service goes to Newfoundland, that's obviously a major arterial, and that is acceptable. And there already is an adventure lab in Newfoundland on the side of Newfoundland that is closest to Cape Breton. So we're hoping to get some of those labs, those adventures linked throughout Newfoundland, and as well, we also have an adventure lab that goes through Cape Breton. So we're kind of linking that gap. Don't expect to see any stages in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, because that is a very long route. But certainly, if you're able to, answer a question between the mainland of British Columbia and Vancouver Island, like name the color of the sign that's on the shoreline, one could easily put a stage in that section. So yeah, it's all about making sure that it's accessible and easy to do. Yeah, we're like I said, we are flexible with the different routes, and keeping the interest, like making the Trans-Canada Highway interesting, and not just by the book necessarily. We are still wanting to maintain a theme, but at the same time keeping people engaged.
Nice. Now, you mentioned a section in Saskatchewan that has low population, very remote. A few episodes back, we talked with GSM times 2. That's episode 436 about how to do adventure labs without data. So that would be a great refresher to go and listen to before you head out to Saskatchewan. So I'm thinking it must take a lot of people all working together to accomplish something of this magnitude. I mean,
Chris,
this
it
makes
takes a village.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. I must be the village idiot then.
No comment.
As long as the village
Except for
isn't
saying no
Woollerton.
comment. Sorry, Jim.
As long as that village isn't Woollerton.
There you go.
I was saying it takes a lot of people. What are some of the volunteers you have working for you? I'm sure you've broken the highway up into usable sections. So,
yes, and a big thanks goes to GSM times 2. I know he's in the chat, and I really do appreciate his wisdom and knowledge in creating the labs down in the States, and we've gathered some of his expertise to, and one of the main points was that you can't do it by yourself. You need to have people on a team and to work as one, basically. And so in between the time of listening to the podcast and getting the idea and now, we have coordinators from the Atlantic coast to the BC coast. And I will name them from east to west. It's just I'm immensely grateful for all of their help. They are such fantastic people to work with, and I'm really amazed to see how, like I said, at the beginning of this podcast, how unifying geocaching is. And this is a testament to that.
Hey Keats, I'm going to jump in real quick. Your audio is really breaking up. So with your blessing, I'm going to read these for you because I think the audio is a little clearer. And please feel free to jump in or correct me if I screw anybody's name up. But as
it might be helpful if you turn off your camera.
Let's give that a try because that might be eating the bandwidth.
Even
your
though
audio needs.
you look really good tonight.
Yeah, the video's looking
saying.
good.
Okay, go ahead. What's that?
So if I run through these coordinators from east to west, as you said, they start with Peter Hatcher of Newfoundland and Labrador, going then to Cynthia Balzer, that's Wanna Be Out of Nova Scotia. William Parker goes by El Nimrod of Prince Edward Island. Matt Clem of New Brunswick from Cache Up, New Brunswick. Ken Tai Charles of Quebec. And then Ontario coordinators, there are multiple. That's Dave Westhouse, London Westie. Doug Bellinger, Dougie B. And Dave Ross. Jumping over to Manitoba, we've got Ken Reimer, Zach Kirk, and I believe that's Keats for Saskatchewan. Devin Pierce of Northern Alberta, Kevin Nickel of Southern Alberta, and of course Keats right there in British Columbia to our north.
There you go. Well done.
I hope I didn't mangle anybody's name too terribly there.
I believe it's pronounced Doug Belanger, but Doug.
Okay.
Doug, who's in the chat? He might be in the chat.
In the U.S., it's probably Bellinger. So, but you're probably right.
That 49th parallel makes all the difference.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It really does. It keeps Tim Hortons north of us.
Yeah, but I think
and,
in both
bad
places,
pronunciations to the south.
that's right. I think in both halves though, it's Dougie B. regardless.
there you go. So Keats, maybe we'll see how your audio is now that you're just 3 bouncing dots on the screen. Did you want to carry on? I think you had some other credits.
Yeah. We also have our graphics guy, Jeff May from Cache the Line. He's an immense help. He's the one that created our graphics. And we also have Dave Ross in Ontario doing double duty, and not only being a coordinator and engaging Ontario geocachers, but also being our mapper. So mapping out the locations of these new TCHALS that are coming out. And of course, this project could not have moved forward if it wasn't for Jeff Caulfield from Geocaching Headquarters. He has been immensely supportive of this project from the beginning, and we are very grateful to have him awarding these 10-stage TCHALS adventures to our participants. So a big thanks goes to him. I've been very impressed with the promptness and the excellent supportiveness from Jeff at HQ. So big thanks goes to him.
Yeah, Jeff's a quality guy. I like working with him.
Gia, sometimes too, you thanked him for getting everything started, and he, in humility, threw out they should also thank KC11. Is that Jeff, or is this somebody else, for the initial highway project with the Lincoln Highway, and to Geocaching Headquarters for supporting the whole concept. So just a whole lot of people to thank. As a lot of things, we stand on the shoulders of giants when we get to someplace. So that's great.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And Keats, just so you know, your audio is significantly
better.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes, tremendously better.
Okay. I don't know what it is with me and audio stuff. And
well, it is tradition, at least.
Yeah.
Seems to be.
Keats, you're nothing if not consistent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And right now you look like you're nothing.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
almost. Your 3 bouncing dots show. Now, here's the question that all the geocachers have listened to this much of the podcast to get through to find out. What they want to know is, how many adventure labs are there, and what percentage of them are complete, and when will the rest of them be complete? Because it's great to talk about it. They just want to go out and do it.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really great question. So this is an ongoing project, and to be honest with you, I don't actually have that exact number of adventure labs currently. They are ongoing with the creation, so the numbers will change quite significantly, especially when we get closer to GeoWoodstock. But yeah, like in terms of percentage, I'm sure that we are at this point close to, if not over 50%. I think that there are some areas that can be filled in at a more rapid rate, and then but of course, this is not, it's not a paid job, and of course people have their lives, and as do I, and I've been very busy as of late, so I totally understand that there are other obligations that have to be met. But at this point, I see ourselves doing very well. We're on good track to have a lot of these adventure labs out by GeoWoodstock, and we already have a whole bunch out now. So head out and go find them. So yeah, like it's definitely it's growing, and there are and so like I said, with Saskatchewan, we're going to be definitely engaging them more, and I know that there are likely some very interested cachers that are bound to jump onto that bandwagon, the TCHALS bandwagon.
Cache Canada tossed in roughly 66 are completed as of now.
Thank you, Cache Canada.
Wow. So at approximately 10 stops, because it doesn't have to be 10, but let's round it up to 10. That's 660 adventure lab stops so far.
That's enough to get you to the peak of any mountain.
Yeah, there you go.
Our local glutton for punishment, GSM times 2, wants to know, do you need any more people? And would an American be allowed to participate? I
Definitely.
truly
You know what?
believe-
I think having expertise from GSM times two would be awesome. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're always looking for people that want to help out and participate and engage. Like we're all for that. And having, you know, reducing the amount of, you know, workload from other people. Like if we can make this more of a streamlined thing, you know, then absolutely we're all for that.
Well, how would they get in touch with you to do that?
So the best way to contact me is my email. So keatsoid@gmail.com, and they can also contact me on geocaching. Sorry, keatsoid@gmail.com is my main email. You can also contact me on geocaching.com. My username Keats94. I have been quite busy, but definitely I will do my best to respond to you in a prompt manner. And if you're interested in participating, give me your username and where you're living, and I can definitely forward your name over to, and I can actually also get you in contact with our local coordinators as well, so that a list can be generated, and then basically my job is to send those names off to Jeff at geocaching headquarters, and then Jeff lets me know that those awards have been added, and then I let everybody know, I let my coordinators know that those awards are active to the participants.
Very cool. So Keats, with 66 out, approximately 66 out right now, folks are out there, they're doing them. I haven't yet had an opportunity to do any of these, but I'm planning to, on this upcoming long weekend, maybe try a few on Vancouver Island. What kind of feedback have you been hearing from the people who've found or experienced some of the stages so far?
So yeah, the feedback I've been hearing has been pretty positive. I was actually over out in the Maritimes in Nova Scotia in October, and I actually did a couple of those adventure labs, and at least my experience of these adventure labs were great. I drove up to Cape Breton on one adventure lab, and I was largely able to do the lab from the comfort of my own vehicle. And I'm all like, while I'm all for getting out of the car and taking in a site, it is convenient to be able to do it from the car if you press for time. Of course, there are some historical locations that, obviously you're going to want to take a look at outside of your vehicle. But like I've been very impressed with the ease of the questions. I haven't really been hearing very many complaints about it. Of course, if anybody has complaints about the series, please let me know. And that any questions or concerns about it, I am definitely all ears, and I'm all happy to learn and improve. Absolutely.
Excellent. So the goal of the series is to showcase how amazing Canada is, and sounds like we're doing a pretty darn good job.
Yeah, it seems to be. We our coordinator from Newfoundland asked if it was okay to include Cape Spear in Newfoundland, and of course, I'm like, well, yeah, like maybe Cape Spear is a little bit off the main Trans-Canada Highway, but it is the furthest easterly point in North America. So obviously, that is something that you would want to showcase as an adventure lab stage. 100%.
Very cool. So Keats, we've got a few questions as well that have come up in the show here. Van Isle Lady is asking, how accessible are these stages going to be for someone, say, towing a trailer? So maybe somebody's either driving west to east, or hey, maybe this summer they're driving east to Abbotsford, and they're bringing a trailer. How difficult is it going to be for them to do these adventure labs?
We definitely encourage our participants to put stages in an accessible area. So if you are towing a trailer, sure, there might be it depends on the discretion of the participant of where they put the stage. But at the same time, we are hoping that people can do these adventure labs easily and with no vehicular frustration. Absolutely. That is something that we we're all about, making this series doable from coast to coast, and encouraging people to go to these locations also means having a car that you don't need to have souped up to get to these locations. So
No 4x4 required, except
No.
for Manitoba in the winter.
Well,
This is
there's
true.
that.
This is
That's
very
different.
true.
Yes, I do
But
try
that's
to
every
avoid.
road in Manitoba in the winter.
Yeah, sometimes. I do try to avoid vehicular frustration any day of the year. But
Hmm. That was a great phrase. I love
Yeah.
that. Vehicular frustration. You've seen my cars then.
Funny. So,
Oh.
any other advice you have for people who are curious about tackling the series? So we've talked about if somebody wants to participate, how they can get a hold of you guys. I think there's also a question of whether or not there's actually, let's get to this one. There's a question earlier back asking if there's a website for TCHALS.
So short answer is we don't have a current website at the moment, but we are hoping to get this up very soon.
Okay.
And somewhere down the line, we're hoping to expand from just a website. So fingers crossed, we're going to see how things go and see the popularity behind this. But so far, it is an upward trend.
Excellent. Now, you mentioned earlier that you have one of the volunteers who's a mapper for the series. And you've said there's a website coming, which is great. If someone is, like I said, we've already talked about if someone's interested in helping, how to get a hold of you, and that's great. If someone's interested in tackling this series, what's the best way for them to start identifying where these are and plot their route out?
Well, so the good thing with all Trans-Canada Highway Adventure Labs is that they are non-sequential. So you do not have to worry about being in a certain direction on the highway to do these labs. And our main MO in this is to also, if we are going to put final caches as part of these adventure labs, then you find out the final coordinates kind of midway through that particular adventure lab. So you'll know the coordinates and find out where it is kind of midway through. So yeah, check it out on the Adventure Lab app, and you'll be able to see the stages. You'll probably see more than 5 stages, and depending on the Adventure Lab owner, you're going to see which areas they wanted to showcase on their Adventure Lab, and that's up to the participant.
Okay.
But certainly, with these adventure labs, they are meant to be findable, and we are asking our participants to have easy to answer questions. That's really important, that there's no confusion, and just to have a nice, smooth, enjoyable time. That's our hope.
That sounds like a good goal.
Just to clarify, even though Adventure Labs on Vancouver Island are non-sequential, because I thought that was kind of an unwritten rule over there that they had to be sequential. I heard somebody gripe about it once upon a time somewhere. I don't know.
There are certainly some adventure labs that are sequential, but those are not part of the TCHALS.
All right.
There you go.
Fair enough.
And Cache Canada has added in on the chat. Another great way to find them is that every single one of them, the titles do start with the TCHALS. So
correct.
However you want to pronounce it, those 6 letters will identify that it is part of the series. And Van Isle Lady wants to clarify that it wasn't her who made the sequential adventure labs. Too funny. And Cache Canada added as well that all of them have the same cover photo. So once you open it up, the artwork will look the same. And I assume that's the stuff that Jeff May made.
Yes.
Very
nice.
He has amazing artwork.
That's great. That gives it that sense of coherency.
Cohesion?
Yeah, sure.
Cohesity. I don't know.
I think
How about consistency?
Okay, there you
You
go.
have incoherently said cohesion.
Yes, there you go. And anyway, they all look the same. That's what I want to say.
There you go.
This is a vocabulary
Wow.
challenge.
What time is it?
This is
Tired.
vocabulary
Past your
frustration.
bedtime, buddy.
Vocabulary frustration, language frustration.
Words
I
are hard.
experience that each and every week here on the Caching in the Northwest podcast.
Well, Keats, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We've learned a lot. Thanks for turning your video off and improving your audio so we could learn even more.
Anything to make my audio better. Absolutely.
That's our motto on this show.
That's right. There's one more question before we go. Wet Coaster wants to know if TCHALS are in Quebec.
We do have one that is very close to the Ontario border, and the name of the town escapes me. It is close to Ottawa. I'm kind of embarrassed that I don't remember the name of this lab, but it is kind of along the Ottawa River. So if you were to follow the Ottawa River, then you will find that lab somewhere along the shoreline. The icon, it appears to be on the Ontario side, but there are some stages in Quebec from what I've seen.
Nice. Well, Keats, thank you so much for joining us. And folks, thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Caching in the Northwest.
That's right. And we want to take a moment to thank Land Sharks and Gold Country Geotourism, our corporate Denali level sponsors. Landsharks.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online. And remember, they are shipping online orders daily. And for absolutely amazing geocaching adventures, check out exploregoldcountry.com. Find Marcy, claim your prize that Chris has committed her to. All right. Hey, and folks, we want to thank each and every one of our faithful Denali level supporters: Land Sharks, Gold Country Geotour, Team Squirrel, Groovy Owl, and Cachly, the geocaching app. If you want to know more about supporting the show, click that Patreon link on the cachingnw.com, a website.
Like Team Noltex did.
Give MacD.
Green words.
UDAC.
Fairwood West.
Oh, how did we get out of sequence here?
It was last week's sequence.
Ah,
We got out of sequence because you left for a week, so it's all your fault.
well, it's usually my fault. All right, the GeoNav Pros.
And Skyhawker
GSM times 2.
Tick Magnet.
on a boat.
You talks to rocks.
Kennel Barb.
Limax.
MC3 Cats.
Log Work.
CRS 98.
Allorubric.
Korsgat.
Kid Vegas 19.
Antaeus.
Sege Hove.
Acrodoc.
B. Pendragon.
Just finding our way.
Wino Seattle.
Kitty Quest.
Can't do that.
The Geo Travelers.
Ari 54321.
Trexzer.
And the man in the dark, Keats94.
How about the Camp Clan?
How about Genies?
How about Emnerv?
Subway Mark.
Doramore.
Seebeck Tribe.
Wet Coaster.
Donners.
Peach of somewhere.
Nevada tonight, I think.
Okay.
T. Sayer.
3 hams and a rose.
LG 9000.
Sprouter.
Gas station tuna.
Boomer 365.
And Broncos fan for life. Who says we can't change?
That's right.
Got to be different once in a while. And it is different for our guest to be in the dark, but we can hear him quite well. And so for that, we're grateful. Keats, if someone wanted to get in touch with you, how would you like them to do that?
It will be okay for the time being. You can get in touch with me, Keatsoid at gmail.com. I'm in the dark again, just in case. You can
Good choice.
So yeah, you can find me. You can message me at email at keatsoid@gmail.com. That is my kind of main email that I use for this project. As well as you can find me on there's a really cool game called geocaching, so you can find me on there.
Wow.
Geocaching.com is a website. You should check it out. It's so yeah, you can find me Keats94 on there, and you can also find me on Instagram, Keats_Morton, and yeah, that's pretty much as far as I have been on Twitter, but yeah, that's pretty much as I'm not on Twitter much these days.
Yeah.
So in the spirit of SNMP, it's Keatsoid, like object identifier, at gmail.com.
Here you go. And GSM times 2, Keats, he suggests that soon it won't be Keats94 on geocaching.com. It'll be 3 bouncing blue dots.
At least for tonight.
Yes.
Nice. So, Keats, again, thank you for joining us. And here's an opportunity for you to ask us interesting questions. This is a segment we call Last, or listeners ask some things. And now we get to answer. If you'd like to ask some things, why don't you call into 253-693-TFTC. I don't know how many times I've said that, and still, you know what? I have to read it. 253-693-TFTC. Thank you, Brylang, for spelling that out so that our listeners can get it right without me having to say it.
Well, the viewers can anyway.
The viewers can. There you go. You can also email your question to feedback@cachingnw.com. Now, the question tonight, and I don't think I asked this before, but it seems familiar. Maybe I've just thought it. Are any of you fellows watching any of the Olympic Games?
I think I've watched a total of about 10 minutes. One of the beauties of having things on demand is you can watch like 2 ski runs and go, yeah, kind of seen enough. Next.
Yep.
And then I go to YouTube and search for all the crashes and accidents. The best one was the big SLR camera tumbling down the ski slope. You've not seen that? Yeah, it's probably the best footage I've seen of the entire Olympic run so far. It's kind of just a symbolic representation of the Chinese Communist Party, just tumbling right down a hill there.
Is it growing, snowballing as it goes?
Or do parts fall off of it as it goes?
I'm told the camera survived. I don't think the lens did completely, but I'm told the camera was still functioning after its tumble.
Wow.
I've taken a bit of a tumble.
It's expensive all too.
Yeah. So no, I do typically very much enjoy the Olympic Games. I've been busy and for other reasons, I just haven't got into these games.
The ski jump in front of the post-apocalyptic background back there is really quite interesting, isn't it?
I was watching ski jumping and I was like, what a weird place to build the ski jumps. But I guess China, I don't know. I mean, I've never been to China, so I can't really judge. But
after my comments tonight, I will never be there.
Yeah. It was just...
You are now officially banned.
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm okay with that.
I've been banned from all kinds of places. That's fine.
I'm a big...
It's another country.
I'm a big fan of the ski and the snowboard cross, but every time I watch those people wipe out, I'm like, like what? Like was this? I think I was at the pub one night and it was playing on the screen, and like there were these 2 people that were so close. I think it was Canada and I think maybe it was Japan or something, and they were neck and neck, and then one of them just wiped out right before the finish line, and I was just thinking like, that's painful. I would feel that. especially when it's like
I really enjoy the sliding events, so the sleds and such. But short track speed skating is just like roller derby on ice.
It is. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I found out that they have to wear. Well, next Olympics it'll be required they wear Kevlar undergarments because the
Blades.
the blades on their skates are razor sharp.
They're very sharp. Yeah.
Yeah. So they think about that. You have to wear Kevlar to go out there.
Yeah.
Well,
the monobob has been interesting this year too. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a different sled. It's the 2-person sled.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. That there's apparently only one person in China called Bob.
Yeah.
He's the monobob.
Isn't that one of the minions, Monobob?
Could be.
With the one with one eye.
Yeah. I know. Anyways, of Olympic sports, like Keats, ski cross, and actually any of the freestyle skiing, moguls, aerials, ski cross, those are my absolute favorites. But of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Canadian women's gold medal winning hockey team in a nail-biting victory over the U.S. I mean, the thing is, any Olympics, you kind of know which 2 hockey teams are going to be competing for gold in women's hockey.
Canada and Russia?
It's usually not much of a guess. It's Canada, the U.S. every time, pretty much. I can't think of a time when it hasn't been those 2. And those 2 teams are so evenly matched that any game can go any direction. And it's so thrilling to watch. They are such superb athletes and sportsmen or sports people. So to watch them compete and just really enjoy that. And of course, when Canada wins gold, you enjoy it even a little bit more if you're Canadian. So
sure,
awesome to enjoy that last night. That was pretty awesome.
Oh, congrats to them. Yeah, I have not followed hockey at all this year, so that's first I've heard. That's awesome.
And I'm a little behind. I just watched snowboard cross. So
okay, so spoiler
I'm about
alert.
a week behind.
Spoiler alert, you lost.
Oh, I wouldn't have ever caught up with hockey anyway. So, and all of those ski things, my knees hurt just watching.
Oh, moguls?
Yeah.
Moguls?
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah.
I need to take ibuprofen just watching that one.
I enjoy the as somebody who is at CRS98 says more biathlon. I do enjoy biathlon. I've not seen any of it this year. I enjoy watching that, and I have to admit, my son and I did sit down and watch most of an entire curling match, and I enjoy curling because, okay, it's maybe some people say it's dry and quiet. I don't know, but I look at that and I think, okay, there's no way on God's green earth I'm ever going to compete in moguls or ski cross or ski jumping or any of that. There's the slimmest chance that I could actually learn to curl and be at a competitive level, maybe not Olympic level. But even at
very hard,
and even at my advanced age and portliness, I might be able to curl a stone someday.
There you go. You could absolutely, Jem. There's no reason not to. I've gone out and done some curling. It is a lot of fun.
We should do that sometime.
We should.
I was going to say we should just go out and find a
CNW curling event.
Ooh, curling event.
There you go.
What do you call a place in which one curls?
Curling
Is it
rink?
A rink?
Yeah.
A stadium?
Do you know what you call a competition?
It's an ice cube right now. It was a water cube for the summer games. Now it's the ice cube. Did you see that?
Oh, no.
They built a floor in the swimming pool, and the curling games.
Oh, is it in the same venue?
It's in the same venue that was called the water cube in the summer games. It's
That's
the
cool.
ice cube this year. No, tell us. Give us your punchline. I'm sorry I cut you off. Or a term for the competition of curling.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, it's not a punchline. I was just,
okay.
Chris was asking what you call the place where you go and do the curling. I was going to say, do you know what you call the events where people compete in curling?
A match.
A briar.
Ah,
there you go.
That is interesting. I couldn't tell if you were setting up a real story or a punchline.
No, real story. But I like the fact that you never are quite sure. I quite relish that.
Oh yeah. Well, that's good. And I want to throw out one more tag about Olympics.
Yes.
I did this quite a bit well, last year for the games of 2020 that were in 2021. Anyway, you're gonna have to do some hunting and looking around and finding streaming and other viewing options, because it's not nearly as easy to find on TV. But go find the Paralympics or the whatever the politically correct term is for the games that will come up after these games close, because those are awesome to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And those competitors are just so much energy and heart in those competitors. It's wonderful.
There you go. And, Briar is one of the terms used. And I am also got a few people who know quite a bit about curling there in the chat. It is also a bonspiel. So, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Curling Bonspiel. You're supposed to watch your language there.
Well, because he exclaimed sheet earlier. So I was...
That's a good guess. I could see that it could be called a sheet. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That is also correct.
Let's see. GSM times 2 is not. Skyhawker is not much.
Oh, you mean watching?
Watching the games.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get through the feedback here.
You got to get caught up now.
He's done with us. Let's move on to the chat.
No worries.
Van Nuys Lady, the best was last night. Geocacher Ken, I have what I can. We said more biathlon, and we talked about Gearhead in the women's hockey team.
That's awesome.
Skyhawker says you weren't missing much.
I have to make a little correction. It's not Van Nuys Lady. It's Van Nuys Lady.
Van Nuys Lady. I'm sorry.
Van Nuys is a little bit further south.
Yeah, you're right.
Van Nuys, yeah.
Brian Lang said, I did some curling when I was in grade 9. I was okay, but not super interested in that age.
It's probably not a great age to get into it, yeah.
Apparently, curling is a bar game.
Indeed.
And Van Nuys Lady laughs.
Okay.
Well,
that's a binary high five there, 101.
Ooh. Hey, folks, thanks for tuning into this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Don't forget that your support helps keep the quality shows coming. If you like the show, click the Patreon link on the CachingNW.com website. And if you didn't like the show, let us know what you want us to talk about. In either case, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe and give us a review. You can call into 253-693-TFTC. See how I did that one? And leave us a comment, ask us a question, or play your favorite Celtic fiddle tune any time of the day or night. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cashingnw.com. Join us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. for a live show, and as we've proved tonight, even a livelier chat. This show is produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, and Jay Kennedy. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2022 by Chris Umfenauer. And folks, I ask you to stay tuned for
the after show.
Hey, Chris, can I give you some advice?
Yeah.
Next time, don't put your own tongue twisters in the show notes. You're just making your own job harder for yourself.
Everything's a tongue twister tonight. My own name is a tongue twister.
Full disclosure, I put that in there.
Well, how can it be Celtic music yet the basketball team are the Celtics? Somebody's not right.
It's that 49th parallel thing.
Because somebody's pronouncing it wrong, and it's probably not the Canadians.
Ask the people from Ireland.
There you go.
I don't know. There's not an extra U in it, so I can't blame the Canadians.
Apparently, you blame me for everything, so whatever.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
All right. Well, hey, we've got some hashtag FATAS. GSM times 2 wants to have a shout out to TW Lair, who is the first person to complete all of the historic Route 66 adventures. Wow.
Can you believe
TW
that?
Lair from the Pacific Northwest here. Congrats.
Yeah, congrats. That's amazing.
What else?
Hey, did you know that Trexer says the Tri-Cities 2022 GeoCoin Challenge has been published 25th of June, 2022.
Wow. Looking forward to being able to travel down for it this year.
Oh.
Yeah, news break. Governor Inslee saw his shadow today and announced 4 more weeks of masking.
Is that how that works?
I think so. Isn't the outdoor mask mandate supposed to lift tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah.
So, I mean, there might be something coming down the pike. I don't. California, of all states, lifted their mask mandate. California.
Yeah, our outdoor one list tomorrow for 2 weeks to spread the curve, and then it'll come back, I'm sure.
2 weeks. See what freedom feels like? Now we're taking it away.
All right. Before this gets too political, GSM Times 2 had some feedback. He said the TCHALS and the same graphic. Oh, so having TCHALS and a consistent graphic on all of the adventure labs are examples of branding. It's much easier to say than anything you tried to say.
Yeah.
You better believe it. And tonight, I would get branding mixed up somehow.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they do that on ranches in Wyoming too, but it's really different.
Yeah.
And you don't pronounce words right after that either.
No.
You come up with new words.
A whole combination of words you didn't know.
I got a word that I'd probably say if that happened.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, apparently there's a new tagline. It's always Land Monkey's fault.
Mm.
Whatever. That's my new tagline.
Seebeck Tribe says, when is Cliff or CRS 98 going to talk about the Washington Coastal Adventure Lab series?
Well,
And I have to say, I did not know this was a thing. This surprised me somehow. Either CRS 98 is really good at keeping secrets, or I just wasn't paying attention. I'm going to let you choose which one you think may be right, and it'll be the other. But he actually contacted us, and so we'll have him on the show March 3rd.
wrong.
I bet it'll be
Okay.
in the chat March 3rd, though.
When is he on the show?
I'm pretty sure it's next week.
No, 2 weeks.
Is it 2 weeks? Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
Whatever it is, I'll just show up and read something.
I'm sticking with March 3rd.
Okay. Well, being the guy who made the calendar invite today, I'm pretty sure it's next week. But okay.
I think you made a mistake then.
Well, then you shouldn't have agreed to it when I said I'm putting this date in.
Did I?
Yes.
Boys, do I need to separate you two?
Yes.
Yeah. We should have a business meeting one of these days and figure
Not
out what's
Land
going on.
Monkey's fault. Chris's
It's always
fault.
Land Monkey's fault.
Chris's fault.
Blame the guy that's furthest south. It's probably his fault.
There you go. Certainly not Keats's fault. Keats, thanks for coming.
Keats is quiet over there, staying out of the fray.
Good idea.
You're back underwater, but we liked having you here.
Keats, you're just eye candy at this point. We can't
Yeah.
understand what you're saying.
Oh no. Oh, okay, I turned myself off.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay. Let's see. Starcasher says, I drove 169. I hope that's miles and not miles per hour. In freezing rain, followed by snow to get a DNF on a birthday cache. Stop by an event that was canceled 2 hours before I got there, and then drive 40 miles further to get back to the birthday cache.
What's a birthday cache?
Um,
Like a cache?
well,
Oh,
obviously, a birthday cache is a cache found on an anniversary of its high date.
obviously.
Well, yeah.
I feel so stupid now. How did I not know that?
I'm really sorry. Wow. 169 miles in freezing rain to get a DNF and then go to an event that's been canceled and then to drive.
That's my kind of caching right there.
Wow.
Ouch. Ouch.
That's crazy. All right.
Wow. And he could have done it at 169 miles an hour. It would have been quicker.
Or maybe he drove Highway 169.
Oh,
There you go.
that's going to get its own Adventure Lab series here in a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. Folks, thanks for joining us. No matter what I said tonight, I'm thankful that you're here. Or what I didn't say, or what I tried to say. Anyway, until next week, get your story straight, then get out and get caching in the Northwest.